and welcome to another episode of the Codo's Mojo. And as always, I'm your host, Patrick Codo. We got ourselves another good show tonight. Our friend Ian is taking a break this week, but we got our buddy Nick Giannakakis back on the show. Nick, how are you? Welcome back to the Codo's Mojo.
Hey, Codo, thanks for having me back. It's always a pleasure. I love talking with you on here, and I'm glad you're doing it again.
Nick, the football season is here. So you know what that means when it comes to those football gurus.
Oh yeah, means fantasy football's back up. Means all the betting degenerates come back alive, and it's gonna be fun. It's always good with that, and college football starting up soon.
Fantasy football. It's like Christmas to us.
It is.
A chance to, re-line up your team. But the league that we're in this year, we're doing it a little differently. We're doing the Keeper League. First time we're all doing the Keeper League. Nick, for those who may not know what a Keeper League is, why don't you go ahead and inform us?
Yeah, so a keeper league's kind of like another word for it is a dynasty league, but instead of drafting brand new players for the start of the year, you get to keep up to 3 players on your team that you had from the previous year. And with this is the first year doing it, everyone kind of gets a fresh start. And it's fun. It keeps people intrigued. If your team isn't great one year and you're not going to make the playoffs or anything, there's no motivation to keep playing, right? And with the keeper league, you can trade future picks, you can trade players all the way up and through the playoffs. So keeps everyone engaged, keeps everyone in it. It's going to be fun kicking it off with year one here.
Absolutely, Nick. And me in fantasy, I'm still coming for those, for that revenge and stuff. I'm still pissed off of how my 2021 season ended. Yeah, that was fucked up. I swear to God. I know I need to get over it, but dude, no. That's
I
just
mean, when you had one of the best seasons I think I've ever seen, you put up the most points ever, you had the best record ever, and then it's the curse of the first round bye that bit you.
yeah, I've been scoring 100 every week. I dropped 200 twice. I remember I 100-piece drew one week.
Oh,
And my team still, that team was loaded. You had Tom Brady. I had a loaded backfield with James Conner, Leonard Fournette, Jonathan Taylor, James Robinson. Keep in mind, people, this is 2021. DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, Mark Andrews, Ravens defense, Justin Tucker, the dream team.
and it went down the toilet. Who'd you lose to?
I lost to Drew. That's because James Robinson got hurt. That's what pissed me off. James Robinson getting hurt while I'm playing. I'm like, no.
It's always the injuries. The injuries always get you.
Yep, and that puts. Sorry?
You can't prepare for injuries.
Nope, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then, of course, last year in our other league, I made the championship. We also ran into another situation that we couldn't do anything about, the DeMar Hamlin situation.
Yep, I feel like a lot of leagues ended up splitting the money or splitting the winnings.
It was the best way to go and stuff.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of key players in that Buffalo Cincinnati game, and when they weren't able to play, it's hard to say who wins.
Exactly, Nick. Well, for our league this year, taking a look at our keepers, I am going wide receiver heavy. So I am set on the wide receivers for sure with Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, and DeAndre Hopkins. Now, a lot of people
made a big trade.
Yep. I was really juggling for that third spot because Alvin Kamara, who the fuck knows if he'll do good? Miles Sanders in Carolina. I figured, okay, maybe get that third wide receiver now and then just focus on running backs and then find the best quarterback available. I was hoping Justin Fields would be available, but no, he is a keeper on someone else's team. God damn it.
That's all right. You'll be able to get another good. Quarterbacks can be slim, but it doesn't hurt if you fall back on like a Trevor Lawrence or somebody that is still going to give you some good points.
Exactly. And, taking a look at your team, Nick, you got yourself a good lineup with Patrick Mahomes, Garrett Wilson, and George Kittle.
Yeah, I was going back and forth in that third spot with Kittle and Delvin Cook, but I don't like running backs by committee, and that's what it might be in New York with Brees Hall and Delvin Cook. So I feel better with a strong tight end and Kittle. And
Yeah, no. George Kittle and Travis Kelsey are your perfect tight ends for a keeper. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised if, someone had Mark Andrews as their keeper.
I think Joe is keeping him. Yeah, I think those three are the top tight ends in the league, top fantasy tight ends.
If you
And
have them and you're in a keeper, I would definitely keep those tight ends.
I agree. And I think
And that's what I did with
oh,
my whiteouts too, with AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, and of course, I made the trade for Hopkins because because again, I don't have faith in my running game because last year in the league, sure I made the playoffs, but it was my wide receivers that carried me. My running game was shit last year. My quarterbacks were shit. I had Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff. I had an okay Pat Fryermuth. Really,
yeah.
it was my wideouts and the Cowboys defense that saved my ass last year.
It's interesting that we've been doing fantasy for how many years now? 10 plus
About,
years.
about
And
10 years for me. 2013 is when I first joined with you guys. Holy
yeah,
shit.
it's just crazy that it's always been running backs. You need the running backs to carry you, and they're gonna get the production. But it's a passing league now, and so if you do have the wide receivers that put up numbers and get 8 to 10 catches a game, I mean that's just as good as having a running back that doesn't get a lot of yards but gets in the end zone. So I feel like it's switching.
Well, especially for someone like DeAndre Hopkins. The guy still has plenty left in the tank. Whoever starts at QB in Tennessee, because they're at a QB best right now. I mean, you got Ryan Tannehill. You got a quarterback that loves to put mayonnaise in coffee. Kentucky fans, how the fuck can you live with this guy? Shit. Why is this leaving my head? Malik Willis is still with Tennessee. So it's a QB circus in Tennessee right now. But whoever's under center, just throw the ball to number 10. Just throw the fucking ball to number 10 because sure, the Titans have Derrick Henry, but you're not going to win with Derrick Henry. Teams are going to
No,
know their
I
Titans
agree.
plan.
That's my only concern with Hopkins is he's in a running back heavy offense where they rely on Henry in the run game a lot,
Right.
and you don't know which quarterback's going to be throwing. I mean, Tannehill did good with AJ Brown. I think AJ
He
Brown had
did.
two seasons of over 1,000 yards, which is great. And
Ah,
granted, I think AJ Brown is a lot more ahead of Hopkins right now,
right.
but it's still DeAndre Hopkins, and like
It
you
is
said,
still DeAndre Hopkins.
they gotta find him the ball, and they can't rely 100% on Henry.
No, no, you cannot rely 100% on Henry because, the guy missed, half of 2021 because of an injury where he was likely to break 2,000 yards. He could have broke Eric Dickerson's single season record because I think when he was hurt in week 8, he was 60 yards away from 1,000 yards. And that's when the 18-week season started. So if we had
Okay.
that 18-week season in 2012, Adrian Peterson's your new single season rushing leader.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But no, I mean, for the Tennessee, I'm in. Hopkins and Henry are the safe bets right now. So they'll mix it up, giving the ball to Henry, and then throwing to Hopkins. So at least for, having Hopkins, he will be reliable on my end. Everybody's juggling of who to get for that first pick and stuff. It's really a toss up this year of who you want to pick first. There's a lot of good players out there. You can go running back, wide receiver, shit, call me crazy, tight end too.
Yeah, I mean, you could if you're not in the keeper league and you're kind of drafting from scratch. I think Justin Jefferson is a clear one. You can't go wrong with that guy. I think he just only improves. But no, you're right. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, these guys are still prominent, and it depends on who you're looking to have. If especially if you have one of those early round picks, I think a lot
Right.
of drafts are going different ways, and it's going to be interesting.
Exactly. And and if you're in a PPR league, which is what we're in, definitely get a good running back. And I am starting to regain my trust in Christian McCaffrey because the last couple years in Carolina, the guy can stay healthy. Last year, he finally does something. He's finally
Hmm.
healthy. Let me say that. He's finally healthy. We know he's good, but last year he finally had a healthy season after, shit luck in the past few seasons that he's had. He can do it all. He can catch. He can even throw too. So, if for anyone that has the first pick, I would honestly go with Christian McCaffrey.
Not a bad play. I don't think you can go wrong with that, especially in that 49ers system now where it favors him a lot more than Carolina. I think you saw that.
Exactly.
He's
Well,
gonna
that
have another good year.
well, that offense in general is like, well rounded for San Francisco with Brock Purdy, McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and of course, Mr. Do It All himself, too, Debo Samuel.
Yep, exactly. They got a ton of weapons, so you gotta keep your eye on a lot of people and good coaching over there too. It's 49ers will be good. D'Amico Ryan not there anymore. Will be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, the defense fares, but offense has always been steady. They haven't been the best. They haven't been the worst. And I think they only
They've
improved
been
since
there. They've
McCaffrey.
been in there.
Yeah, and they've only improved since McCaffrey came. So
Right.
definitely something to keep an eye on.
The big thing is, can Brock Purdy stay healthy?
Yeah, that's a good
Because
point.
they were juggling between quarterbacks in that NFC Championship game. Well, no shit, all last year with Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Purdy, and then Josh Johnson. San Francisco just needs a healthy QB. But
Yeah,
as long as you have that, that stable offense, they'll be good. They'll be good. So if you can get any San Francisco 49ers player on your fantasy team, even if it's someone like Brandon Ayuk, that's a good sign to have.
I like Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, he's a sneaky player. He gets a lot of yards after reception, so he's quick with the ball, and they'll find him. Especially, I think more eyes will be on McCaffrey in San Francisco this year,
Right.
so they're gonna have to lean on some of their other guys to do some lifting.
Now, for those who, a lot of people might, sniff a quarterback. They might sniff a quarterback right away.
I
I
think.
would, sorry,
I'll go ahead.
Josh Allen could be a good pick. Obviously, nothing wrong with getting Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow should be good to go week one.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
gonna be interesting to see how guys like Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields all perform. Justin Herbert. We know what we
Hurts.
Herbert's great. I think it's the guys that got a little bit more dual threat to him, like Herbert or Fields, and
Yes.
even like Russell Wilson. How does Russell Wilson bounce back after the last year and with under Sean Payton?
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be interesting.
It will be indeed. Like we talked about too. This is a quarterback league. We're in good hands. Geno Smith also got a big extension. He's got weapons with Metcalf, Smith, and Jigba. He can
Yep.
hand it to Kenneth Walker if need be. Fant is a good security blanket to have. You also talked about Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson. One quarterback, though, that I would maybe avoid, and this came to mind too, Tua. The guy had some shit luck last year with those injuries. And him playing this year after what happened last year kind of scares the shit out of you, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's another guy with a dual threat, and I mean, he's got to stay healthy. I think
Exactly.
he's in a good system, and he's got the weapons. I mean, and I think me and you could throw for over 1,000 yards in the NFL if we had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But it's, I'd like to see them. I mean, I'm a Patriots fan, but they need to take a step forward this year because they have so much talent on that team, and it, you can't waste Hill's prime. You can't waste
No,
Jalen Waddle's prime. So
no.
who's their
Pat,
running back now?
I think it's still Raheem Mostert.
Must start.
Mustard. I won't be surprised if that's a funny fantasy team name for anyone. Raheem must start. That's if you have Mostert.
You have any new ones this year that are good?
Oh, you know what? I was actually on a little Twitter. I found a Twitter post last night. It was from the Miller Lite Twitter page. It said name fantasy teams with the name beer in it. If I get any Seahawks players, I might as well go with Seattle Beerhawks.
Oh my God, the Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle Beerhawks. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If I get any Bucks players.
I like that.
Obviously,
You always think of some pretty good ones.
exactly. Oh shit! What was that? No, that one where I had that one year. I think it's like 2019. My team was ass, but I still had a good name. Dace Ventura, Jet Detective.
That's a good one.
When Adam Gase was the coach of the Jets, and the Jets were shit. Case Ventura, Jet Detective. You know, Darren Waller, Great Waller of China.
Go C3PO.
Kelsey 3PO. That was, that was another, dream team last year. But that one was because of the DeMar Hamlin situation, which nothing we could do about that
Didn't you have
situation.
a dog's name?
Huh?
Did you ever have a name with dogs?
Dogs, 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 dogs. I'm trying to think. Let's see.
No.
It might,
Can't
it,
think.
might, it might come to mind soon. But I remember one year too. I had Jonathan Taylor. I called it Taylor Park Boys because I like to watch Trailer Park Boys.
That's a good
Um,
one.
yeah. Kelsey 3PO though. I liked that one last year. I liked that one.
Yeah, you gotta fly like an eagle. You always gotta pick good names.
Oh well, that's staying in our league. Fly like an eagle because I have AJ Brown.
Oh, you're keeping fly like an eagle?
I'm keeping fly like an eagle.
I like that.
And then we'll see what funny names I come up with in the Zoo League.
Yeah, I know. It'll be good.
But I definitely like the name Seattle Beerhawk. So if I get any Seahawks players,
The Beer
the
Hawks.
Beerhawk.
Love it.
Now, we're talking about players and stuff, Nick. There could be some potential sleepers in fantasy. Obviously, the running back room in our league is some guys are keeping their running backs, but there are some sleepers out there. I feel like Damian Pierce for the Texans is going to be a big sleeper this year. He had a good season last year. The Texans have a new QB. I feel like their offense is going to rely heavily on him.
Yeah, he was the guy that definitely last year flew under the radar. I think he will get the lion's share of work in that offense, like you said, with the rookie quarterback. And I mean, who's their top wide receivers? Are these?
I think it's Robert Woods.
Yeah, wait, that's I like that.
Otherwise, these are names that I've never even heard of before. So the one good thing for the Texans though is that they're going in the right direction because they had back-to-back picks in the draft. They got C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. So you have your hopeful franchise QB. You have your hopeful future face of the defense with Anderson. Now they just gotta, keep building on that. So that's why I feel like Damian Pierce is a sleeper. He's gonna get a lot of carries.
Yeah, I mean, we'll put it to you this way. That's the only player I'd ever consider taking on the Texans.
Exactly. And I mean, do not get CJ Stroud, another running back too that I feel like is a sleeper. And Bears fans know this. Roschon Johnson. He is a sleeper. The one thing that the Bears always hit on the head is the running game. No matter who they put in the backfield, that running back is going to turn into a god. Khalil Herbert turned into a god, and I feel like Roschon Johnson is going to turn into a god. Any running back the Bears will get, he will turn into a god.
Yeah, I like that one. I didn't think about him. I think especially you follow the Bears the closest. So if you think he's gonna be the next Tariq Cohen or whatever, I think he could break out.
He and Khalil Herbert are definitely going to be splitting time for the backfield, and I like that for teams getting the two running back system.
Yep.
Khalil Herbert can't do it all the time. Roschon Johnson from Texas, Texas has produced some good running backs. So I feel
Yep.
like, that Roschon will be, a good fit in Chicago. And it's the Bears. They always work well in the running game. I don't know how, but I'll take it though.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
Matt Forte,
it-
he came from Tulane. Walter Payton, who was who was the best running back the Bears had, went to Jackson State. So really doesn't matter where you guys play at school. It just matters how you produce in the pros.
yeah, I think too if you can get the other Texas running back in the first round, that's a pretty good pick there too.
Exactly. And well, speaking of, running backs, Bijan Robinson. He's going early in some fantasy drafts. I got a
He's
feeling.
he's gonna be good. He does a lot. He's a great pass catcher. He's elusive. I think, there was their preseason game, he had like one drive and had like 20 yards and a couple catches. He's gonna be a problem. I think the only thing holding him back is a quarterback situation. But again, you don't
Right.
need the quarterback to run. I like him a lot. I think he could be the next McCaffrey Eckler-esque that's dominant on the ground, but also in the
Right.
passing game. And he'll be a top pick for sure. If players in your league are smart, he should be, a top 5 pick in a normal draft.
Can't go wrong about, Jackson Smith and the Jigba from Seattle. If you missed out on DK Metcalf and want a Seahawks receiver, get Jackson Smith and the Jigba.
Yeah, I like him. He was tearing it up in their preseason game too. I
Yep.
love him. I think that's always interesting with Lockett, Metcalf, and now him there. I think I think he's due for a really nice rookie season, and he could be the Garrett Wilson we saw last year from the
Yeah.
Jets.
For those who maybe not, go with tight ends and all the good ones get taken, Sam Laporta for the Lions. If he's available late and you need a tight end, I'd get him.
You like him?
Yep. Well, it's also the Lions' system with tight ends worked pretty well. It did with
Yeah,
Hopkins before they traded him. Obviously, whoever starts in Detroit, either Jared Goff or Jalen Hyatt, they're going to be looking at Sam Laporta too because you're missing Jameis Williams for a little bit. Jahmyr Gibbs, who's who I believe is also going to have a breakout, and I believe he's going to be the running back one in Detroit over Montgomery.
I think you're right. I like Gibbs a lot. The only thing that worries me is just the running back by committee offense, and they got Montgomery there. Do they have another running back, Jamal Williams, still, or no? They
No,
don't
he's
have.
with the Saints.
Yeah, so I mean,
Who's
that's the
another
thing.
back who's
Like
another back
last
that
year,
you should probably get.
yeah, I mean, it's the Lions are just tricky. Like last year, I remember DeAndre
Yes.
Swift and Jamal Williams. Like you would think DeAndre Swift would be getting more of a workload, and they just gave it to Williams, especially at the goal line. So.
Oh, yeah.
Between Montgomery and Gibbs, I have a feeling one of them's going to get yards, one of them's going to get goal line carries, and it's hard to bank on that. But I do think Gibbs is another guy that if there's going to be 2 running backs from this draft
Correct.
that take off, I think Bijan and Gibbs are the 2 that to look at.
Right. No, 2 extreme running backs and Johnson too for the Bears. If when he gets his name called, he looked really good in the preseason.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, obviously, you want to get some good players, but what players would you maybe want to avoid and maybe save it for a late round?
Yeah, I think I tend to stay away from players, even if they're good on just bad teams. And I don't think the Panthers are going to do that great this year. I would stay away from like Miles Sanders.
Stay
I
away
don't know
from
if you can.
Sanders. Stay away from Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Terrace
Yeah,
Marshall.
I just can't trust that offense. And I don't know if you
You
watch Hard Knocks, but in like one of the Hard Knocks, Quinnen Williams had like 11 sacks in practice, and like I can't trust it. It's a small sample, and it's just recency bias, but I can't trust an offensive line that's they're not going to protect. So I
right.
stay away from that. The Bucks
But
are another team to stay away from a bit.
if you want to get some players of the Bucks, then I would probably my safest bet would be Mike Evans and Godwin, and then
Who's the
maybe
running
avoid the.
back? Do they still have playoff money?
No, they do not have playoff Lenny. Lenny was just more like 1 year wonder. Lenny, he didn't do shit last year. Imagine if we started the keeper last year. My keepers would have been shit. Because I would have kept Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, and Mark Andrews or Leonard Fournette. Oh, those players were shit. Well, Kupp got hurt, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for that. But the other guys were just
They didn't live up to the name,
didn't
yeah.
live up to the hype. Well, especially for Andrews, that Ravens offense just banged up.
Lamar hurt, yeah.
Lamar hurt. Jonathan Taylor didn't do squat. Now he wants to be traded from Indy.
I know. It's crazy. It's a good thing we're starting this year.
Oh, Josh Jacobs too. Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs is,
Josh Jacobs could have a tough year, I think. He might be someone he's still good to draft, but you don't have Derek Carr there, and Derek Carr is a decent. Jimmy Garoppolo is very different than Derek Carr, and when you don't have him, you don't have Darren Waller to take some of the pressure off. I think they can put more in the box and try and stop Jacobs. And
yeah,
it's there's always a couple that have breakout years, like you said, and then the next year they're a shell of
they're
themselves. So
terrible.
someone's due for that, whether that's Jacobs, Eckler, which I can't see. It's tough.
Eckler's not having a shit year. Eckler's gonna do Eckler things.
There's running backs due for a down year for sure. I think like
I got a
Cam
feeling
Akers.
Tony Pollard could be in for a down year in Dallas.
Yeah. I mean, he was really good though last year, and I think
But
Dallas is on.
like you said though, one running back, they'll just go off one year and then just shit the bed badly the following year.
You're right. You're right. So I mean, it's
I mean, I love to be wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I love to be wrong. I like Tony Pollard. If he goes off, he goes off.
yeah, that's one to watch for sure. I wouldn't put him in my top tier of running backs, but he's one that could be due for a down year for sure.
Exactly. I mean, that's the life of fantasy football, It's a love-hate relationship.
Oh yes.
One week you love your team, and the next week you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Why? What did I do to deserve this? And you and I have witnessed it firsthand.
Yeah,
Everyone in our league has witnessed it firsthand.
everybody. It's there's so much turnover. You gotta. That's why I like the keeper league because you can prepare and
It's
trade.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a good, first time doing it. And obviously, I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's
Now,
fun.
if only you did a keeper league for our Mizzou league, because I know exactly who I would have kept.
You got a good team.
I would have kept, Slow Joe. I would have kept Kelsey. And oh, I would have had a struggle for my third pick because I had a squad. I would have had to pick either between Derrick Henry or Hill.
Yeah, you did have a squad.
Again, that just was stopped because of the DeMar Hamlin incident.
Okay. Yep.
I honestly could have won that championship if that didn't happen.
Yeah, you could have.
Oh, I would have walked away with some.
You still got some. You got
I
half.
did, but like we said, that's fantasy for you. Fantasy is full of love and hate, and let's just hope that you and I are not on the wrong end of the stick this season.
I know. We gotta. One of us is due for a win. We can't have Adam be winning in this.
Damn it! How the fuck did he came out of nowhere last year in the playoffs?
No, I know. It's yeah.
Talking all that shit, getting his ass kicked in some matchups, and then he goes on to win the fucking thing.
You just gotta focus on beating G. You gotta continue the streak.
Oh, I own that motherfucker. I own you, Chris Redgate. I still own you.
You do own him.
And I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying this. I own you, Chris Redgate in fantasy.
Yeah, that'll never get old.
No, sir. No, sir.
Now you gotta work your way to others. You gotta own Camp. You gotta own
Yeah,
Joe.
there's some teams that own me. I know Camp owns me. Time to get back at that SOB.
Yeah,
Dude, there's a lot of people I got to get back at.
Vasallos.
Oh, those boys too. You and I are a
Your
mix.
Greek
Sometimes,
uncles.
yep. I got to start owning them. You and I are a mix. Couple times you own me. Couple times I own you.
Yeah, we're about even, I'd say.
We're about even. But yeah, there's some teams that I got to start owning.
You got Chris down for sure.
I was gonna say I got Chris's number. I'm gonna keep it going, Chris. I'm your Aaron Rodgers, Redgate. I'm your Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
I still own you, which another player I would probably avoid in fantasy.
You don't like Rodgers?
Because It's
You
the
love
Jets.
Rodgers. You like Rodgers.
I don't mind Rodgers. I don't mind him. I mean, now that he's out of Green Bay, finally.
All right, let's go through
Also,
the Bears schedule. Let's see who you'd pick.
oh boy, we're going for some picks already. All right, I see you, Nick.
All right, week 1, who you got?
Fuck, let's go Bears.
All right, 1-0. Week 2 at the Bucks.
You know, knowing the Bears, they're gonna lose games that they shouldn't. That's one of them.
Okay, all right.
That's a game that they're gonna let get away, unfortunately.
But Bears at the Chiefs, so they start
That's
1-2.
another L.
Then they come home against the Broncos,
They'll beat the Broncos.
2-2 at the Commanders.
They'll beat the Commanders after that shit performance last season.
Okay, then they're hosting the Vikings.
Oh, they're hungry for a win. They'll fucking win.
Okay, 4-2. Then they're hosting the Raiders,
They'll win that game.
5-2. Then they're home against or away at the Chargers.
That one, I feel like, I think they're gonna let that one
Yeah,
get away from them.
5-3. Saints.
Another L. I'm sorry. They can't win in that dome.
Yep, that's a tough one. They'll beat the Panthers, right?
Yeah, they'll beat the Panthers.
In Detroit, Thanksgiving.
That's the week of Thanksgiving, but no, they should win that game.
Okay, so what are we at? 6-4
Yes.
at the Vikings.
That one's gonna be tough.
Give
I'm
them
gonna
the L.
I'm gonna give that one an L.
6-5. Lions at Bears.
Dub.
Can get that one. 7-5. Bears at Browns.
They should win that game, but I feel like that's another game that they're gonna lose that they shouldn't.
All right, 7-6.
We'll be real. We'll be real here and stuff, Nick.
Yeah, we'll be real.
I'm not saying they're gonna be, the
No, I
best
like
team
it.
in the NFC.
I like it. And then Cardinals, Falcons, both at home.
They should win both those games.
Okay, and then at the Packers.
L.
So you got them at what? 9-8.
Yeah, sounds about right. 9-8. Yeah, 9-8. That's kind of a
They,
realistic record. The
yeah,
team just has to get adjusted this year. I mean, like, we're good on paper, but we got to see what the guys do this year.
they don't
Like,
have all the holes filled.
yeah, well, especially since the fucking offensive line can't stay healthy. So,
Yeah. Which games are
okay,
you going to?
I'm going to the Packers week 1, of course, the Panthers, and the Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve game against the Cardinals and Falcons.
Ooh, okay.
Yep. So, hopefully I see some wins this year in person.
What was your record last year?
Shit, I was 1-3.
1-3. Ooh.
Went to the only one I saw was the Texans.
Was that their only home win?
They had 2 home wins. They beat the Niners in the monsoon and the
Yeah.
Texans. And then their offense plays like shit against Washington. They blow it against the Lions. And then they had a second half collapse against Buffalo, which is no surprise. But I
Yeah.
love the addition of TJ Edwards. I've wanted Tremaine Edmonds for a long time. I'm glad we got him. I bought a Tremaine Edmonds jersey too.
Really?
Yep.
What
Cole
kind of
Kmet is. Oh, there's another potential sleeper. Sure, Cole Kmet had a good year last year, but he's after getting that contract, staying in Chicago, dude's gonna be playing hungry.
I think he's a great tight end to have. I think they're gonna have to pass more. So
You got DJ Moore too, Darnell Mooney. Shoot, I think the Bears are another team too where you could start, trusting some players.
yeah, DJ Moore I think is a great he's gonna have a great season.
For sure. I'm excited to see what they do this year. Obviously, I'm not expecting, a big jump. Again, I love being wrong. So if they have a big jump, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean they'll have a jump. They're better than 3 wins.
Exactly. Awesome. All right, Nick. That is all we have for the show today, my man. Thanks so much for coming on to talk some fantasy. Oh, man, I'm excited, man. I'm pumped.
No, me too. We'll have to do another one mid-season recap and talk about how things are going, and of course we'll do our playoff preview. We always got to get that in.
For sure. Looking forward to shooting the shit at the draft on Sunday.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a fun Sunday ahead. Haven't seen you in a
We
while. Get
well
the
looking
boys
forward
all
for that
together.
draft. Some of
There's a
those boys
trophy.
I haven't seen those boys in a long time.
Yeah, you gotta see him. It'll be fun. It's gonna be a good time.
So everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Codo's Mojo. We will see you next time.